Hey, this is Adam Moult from Bad Cop, and you're listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. I'm your host, Lou Lombardi, a.k.a. Loudini, and we have another great interview today with Adam from the band Bad Cop, and you're going to really like this. These guys have a great rock and roll. Is sort of based in the punk sound, but just excellent songwriting, and that's what really sets these guys apart. Before we get started, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine. That's pplmag.com, Pittsburgh's first internet radio, TV network, online community magazine, and business directory. It's a great place to watch, download, and receive emails with the latest audio and video created by members of the community. There's tons of businesses there. There's great podcasts like this one. So for all of that, you want to go to pplmag.com. And I would like to go ahead and give you guys a little introduction about who we got on the phone today. I've got Adam from the band Bad Cop, firmly planted outside any political spectrum, loud, unabashed, fluent in the DIY principles. Bad Cop formed in 2009 and immediately caught the interest of one of America's oldest punk labels, ROIR, home to Bad Brains and MC5, Beastie Boys, Television, and others. Frontman Adam Moult and company left the buckle of the Bible Belt for the Big Apple and inked a record deal just 4 months after starting the band. Since their debut LP, Harvest the Beast, which I was just listening to, by the way, which kicks major butt, Bad Cop has run the gamut of American rock and roll from seemingly endless lineup changes to becoming a CMJ and South by Southwest favorite alongside indie breakouts like Foxygen and local natives. Adam, welcome to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.
Hey, how you doing, man? I appreciate you having me.
Hey, so are you at South by Southwest right now? Is that this week?
Yeah, that was this past week, but we actually skipped it this year to sort of finish up the mixing and mastering of the new record.
Oh, you guys are so it's so happening for you guys now. Like you don't even need something as puny and wimpy as South by Southwest, huh?
I guess
you guys are big rock stars now.
yeah, coming up.
Hey, well, you seem like a smart, level-headed guy. You got all kind of great stuff going on. How did you get started? What made you want to go into music and go down this path of being a rock and roll musician?
I moved to Nashville when I was about 10 years old, 11 years old, and it was prior to it being really affluent in rock and roll, so, there was just like a small hardcore scene. It was really the only thing to do. So I just started going and doing that every weekend whenever I was 11 or so, and I don't know, I just loved everything about the creative aspect and just performing for people, so the more I did it, it just sort of became my thing, and still doing it to this day.
So you were going to hardcore shows when you were 11 years old?
Yeah, I used to go out to those and just get really into it and started playing the bass and then the guitar and then the drums and just trying to implicate and copy what I was watching the people do, what I was watching the people do whenever I was going to those shows.
You are, so when did you get into writing your own songs, though? When did you kind of start to become, because it's one thing to kind of just show up with your bass or be jamming with other bands, but how did you become a songwriter?
I guess after, seeing a bunch of shows, there was a band here that some of my buddies were in called Be Your Own Pet, and they were really young when they started making music, and I'd never even really thought about writing my own songs, but I saw them write their own music and have some success with it, and it's sort of, I just watching it from a distance. I was like, I think I can do that. So I sat down and just started, hacking at it and making my own material. But that was when I was about, 15 years old.
Okay. What I want to ask you, because your songs all have a great, no matter what you're doing, from the first record to your latest record, all your songs have a great hook. There's always something about them that really kind of grabs you. So how do you find that, or does it just sort of come to you?
It'll just sort of come to me. Whenever we're playing the song, I typically know if I want to keep it or not, and the chorus is based off my first listen. Like, I'll hear someone play it, and I'll just usually immediately hear the melody in my head. And if I don't have that happen, I usually like to just sort of put the song on the back burner and move forward to the next one. But the chorus is always like a really big part to me of every song. Like, you know, growing up, one of my favorite bands was the Beatles, and it was, you know, one of the strongest aspects of their writing. So I've always tried to keep that in mind as well. Just always having a very hooky chorus that people can sing along to and makes them want to dance and just, you know, get into the song.
Do you write the chorus first and then build the song around it, or does it vary?
It varies. Sometimes I'll write a riff and just build everything off that. But I guess the past few years, most of the stuff I've been writing has just been, you know, starting with a good hook, and I'll base a lot of things off that, you know.
So from what I've read, Bad Cop has gone through some lineup changes. So how do you keep the project going in the face of that?
You know, I've always sort of had it sort of just be my band. You know, I'll have a lineup for a couple of years or so typically, and then, you know, life will happen with people. Sometimes people want to branch off and produce or go do this and that, and I'll just keep it going. You know, living in Nashville is a really beneficial part to that just because there's so many great musicians here. So if someone leaves, or if, you know, me and a person who are playing together decide to part ways, it's always easy to find someone to step in and just sort of keep the momentum and energy like moving along. You know? Well,
yeah, I would imagine being in Nashville, there's a great pool of musicians. Now, you know, I mean, traditionally Nashville's been known as, you know, as for country music. Now, you said that when you first went there, though, that there was just a kind of a small rock scene. Now, how has it grown since you've been there? Is there a lot more rock and roll and punk and different styles?
Oh, yeah, it's grown, like, exponentially. Whenever I first got here, it was, you know, this pretty standard Nashville, just, like, country, you know, music city thing. And there was, like, a really small hardcore scene. And it seems like from the hardcore music, this just enormous rock and roll scene branched out. And it began to start to do that around, I guess, late 2008, early 2009. There's a couple bands out of here, like Jeff the Brotherhood and Turbo Fruits, that, you know, started to get some national attention, and from there it just brought a lot of eyes to the city, and the city just has a lot of talent, so a lot of people just started, you know, making rock and roll bands, and it just sort of took off from there. But, yeah, Nashville's just sort of been blowing up with the rock and roll to where it's, you know, almost bigger than the country now for about, you know, 6-7 years.
That's really exciting. You know, rock is not dead. Thank you, Gene Simmons. He's always putting out that crap. So I want to talk about shift gears a little bit, because I was looking at your website, and you guys have some like very cool videos. Like, really,
thank you so much, man.
Yeah, I mean, they're really good. So, do you come up with a concept? Would you work with the director? Like, tell us about some of the videos and how you guys put those together.
I guess on like 3/4 or so of them, I've made the concept and worked with a director down here named Seth Graves on a lot of them. Usually I'll sort of give him an overview or an outline of what I'm seeing, and he'll sort of help me paint the rest of the picture, and we'll just move forward and direct it. But a couple of them, I've let the director come up with a majority of the concept. But, yeah, a lot of them I like to write that as well. I like to be involved in, you know, all the aspects from the music to the cover art and promotional posters all the way to the music videos. Like, I like to make sure that I have my hand in creativity in all those aspects.
Tell me about the video Light On.
We made that back in, I guess, early 2013, and it was also with Seth Graves, who, once again, he's just an amazing director out of Nashville. Yeah, we just, we started discussing, like, what we'd like to do, and, we wanted to make something that was sort of dark, but, a Southern vibe and stuff, and, after about a week of working on it, we sort of came out with that, and we're just really excited about the aesthetic it gave off, and really excited that it was really well received, So it was an interesting process, but with that video, it's definitely more of Seth sort of encapsulating like the overall vision that we wanted for it,
Yeah, that's it's very fun, video to watch. It's very cool. goes really well with the song, and it's got a great sort of, it's like a mini movie, you know, to sort of, yeah. I really, I was really kind of impressed with that. It was very cool. So what's out right now? Because when we were talking before we started the recording, you said your last official record was Light On, correct?
Yes, sir.
The Light On, okay. But then there's an EP or something out that you put out or something too. So what do you have out?
Right now we had out the Wish You Well EP at the end of 2014, and then a live audio tree session, and then back in February I released a B-side called Ain't From Here. But we've actually been the past year sort of working on our, I guess, technical like second full length that should be out this fall. But yeah, right now we just have out Harvest the Beast, Light On, the Wish You Well EP, Can't Slow Down EP, and the audio tree sessions.
So Ain't From Here was like maybe something. Was it something that like didn't get used on a previous record, and then you just released it, or to kind of keep the fans kind of give them something, or what was the song you just put out yourself, like you wrote just to put out as a solo song?
It was something we did back in a little, I guess, 2014, just like in a downtime from touring. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really sure why we never released it on any of that. It was a really strong song, but you know, it just, you know, I guess that it wasn't meant to come out that way. But yeah, I just wanted to put it out to keep the fans interested during this period where we've been, you know, really focused on this upcoming record, and was just really happy with the response from it.
Now, who's going to be on the new record, and who's producing?
Chris Granger from Nashville, Tennessee is producing, which has been an amazing experience working with that guy. He's produced my favorite records that I grew up on, like Wilco's Summer Teeth and stuff like that. So it was just awesome working with him. But playing on the new record is Alex Hartness, Matt Erickson, and Charlie Abbott. And all three of them are really amazing musicians out of Nashville. The only one that I've worked with on every record is Alex Hartness, and he's just you know, he's my favorite guitarist, and it's just like an incredible experience writing this with him, you know.
Do you guys so when you write, you collaborate, or do you kind of show up with like, okay guys, here's my songs, and how do you do that when you go to do a record with your songs?
I guess a little bit of both. I'd say primarily I'll show up with the songs and just teach them to everyone. But usually about per 10 on 3 of them, I'll have, you know, collaboration. I'll come in and leave room for whoever I'm working with at the time to sort of put their own vibe or taste into it, so we can, you know, not just have it be just my project, but also, you know, have them put a little bit of their sound into it, so it's always progressing, you know.
It takes a lot of trust, I think, you know, to kind of like allow other people to sort of like in on your process and work with you. So, who's the guitarist? I'm sorry, what was his name again?
Alex Hartness.
Alex. So you and Alex must have like a pretty good rapport then after working together to be able to like say, no, go ahead and jump in here and give me what or contribute what you think.
Oh, yeah. Actually, upon moving to Nashville, he was, whenever I was just a kid, he was one of the most, you know, talented musicians I'd seen. You know, he's one of those people who's sort of like a kid prodigy with his guitar playing. And as I grew up with him, I just had always really admired the stuff that he wrote and played. So, you know, as I got older and started this band, I was really excited that he wanted to work with me. And, yeah, since I'd seen him play over the years, it was easy to sort of instill trust in him, and been nothing but a positive experience. You know, he's been on every release I put out so far, and I don't know, I think without him, this band would definitely be a totally different thing, you know. Like,
well, that's great to have like a brother that gives you kind of like, you guys, you can work with. Makes a big difference, you know, in terms of getting stuff done and encouraging each other. So congratulations on that. Let's talk about Jeffrey Drag Records. This is your own record label, right?
Yeah.
Well, tell me all about this. Tell me all about this.
Well, I started it back in 2009 whenever I was 19, and, you know, initially it was just like this sort of silly, we'd take like cassette tapes we bought at thrift stores and stuff that were already recorded on, and just like cross out the cover, write our title, and just like re-record over it, and just go put it out. And yeah, it was so silly and just like the most DIY thing you could do. But from there, people started to really enjoy the music and to dig it. So we began to take it a little bit more serious, and we ended up with some artists who wanted to press their stuff on the vinyl and actually get it out there. So we started doing that, and I guess from there we had gotten a distribution deal with French Kids label group and The Orchard, and that was in 2012, and that sort of propelled it into like how do I phrase this, like the next league. So everything really picked up, and from there we just continued to grow and moved from just doing like cassette tapes from 7 inches all the way into like full records, digital releases, digital singles, and even now branched off into clothing, rolling papers, like so many bizarre different items now. But it's been like a great little thing that I initially started to keep me from being bored, that just sort of turned into like a sought after record label, which was really cool.
Congratulations. What bands are you working with on Jeffrey Drag right now?
Right now, the main bands I'm working with are the Slovaks, which is a new band out of Manchester, UK. They got a lot of really cool stuff going on right now. Like, we just put out a B-side, or not a B-side, I guess like one of the songs we recorded for their upcoming album that isn't going to be going on there. We put that out, and we're getting ready to release a single by them, and then a full-length album by them at the end of the year. Aside from the Slovaks, I'm working with a hip-hop artist from here named Buku C, another one named Scotty Rockwell, and another one named Kropsy. And then I'm also working with Dan Luke and the Raid out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, and they're more of like a Beatles-based rock and roll band. But yeah, it's got like a mixture of hip-hop and rock and roll that I'm working with right now, and really excited to see where these releases go.
Do you have like what exactly in 2016? There's music business is completely, it's completely different than what it was, in the 70s and 80s, obviously. So in 2016, what does a record label like Jeffrey Drag Records, what exactly do they do for a band?
We give them, I guess, obviously we put out their releases, and we'll press the records to vinyl and, get them on Spotify and iTunes. But aside from that, we offer them opportunities to license their music. We offer them opportunities to record it and, us fund it. And we also offer them opportunities to, like, get on tour and sort of, get them out of their city and playing shows around America. But yeah, the whole aspect of, being a record label is, even changed a lot since I started doing this just like 6 or 7 years ago, But we're just trying to keep up with the ever-evolving music business and, try and offer different aspects for people to be able to express themselves, whether it be making merchandise with us or, going on tour or releasing a single. So that's sort of our involvement with them.
Speaking of touring, you guys, are you guys on touring now, or you're on a break, or what are you guys doing?
Right now, we're currently on a break, but we're actually going to be playing next weekend in Annapolis, Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, University of Maryland Radio, and Bowling Green, Kentucky.
I talked to a lot of acts, a lot of artists, and I'm hearing the same thing over and over that touring has become like really expensive.
Yeah.
How do you guys do that? How do you guys? Not that I have a financial statement or anything, but just in general, like how do you guys cope with that? Because a lot of artists I talk to, like, they do the records of a full band, but then they go out and they just play, they tour acoustically because that's the economics of it. So how do you guys cope with that?
You're definitely correct in that. It's changed so much, even since I've just been doing this, but especially a lot in the past like 15 years. But I guess the way we cope with the new financial structure of it is just make sure we have a realistic, expectation of what will come with touring, and from the shows, what type of, I guess, payment or stuff we'll get. But but yeah, I guess now we sort of look at playing and touring almost more as promoting the record and just leading to like other opportunities we can pay. Because right now, it's hard to get paid off of touring, and they're just very expensive. So like, yeah, we just more so do that because we love it, and it's a good way to just get out there and meet people and promote the record and sort of hand to hand sell people CDs and items and do all of that. But yeah, it just changed so much that you really have to love it now to be able to go out there and really stay on the road and grind it out.
Okay, we touched on this question a couple of times throughout the conversation here, but let's sort of kind of like give everybody a view here what the next 6 to 12 months looks like for Bad Cop, and what they can kind of be expecting from you guys as the year progresses here.
Well, the next 6 to 12 months, I guess we'll be on tour next week, and then we'll be on tour again, throughout May. It'll be a little bit longer of a stint. We'll be out for about 3.5, 4 weeks. But after that, we'll probably go a little bit quiet for a month or so, and we should be out with like technically our second full length around September. But yeah, right now it's just a lot of preparation for this new record. We spent like the past 9 to 10 months just really focusing on this. As some of these songs, I've been working on for about 3 or 4 years. So yeah, it's just a lot of focus on this new record, and I guess people can expect to see us in certain Midwest and Southeastern dates, and expect to see a new album out, and around September.
And if folks want to keep catch up with you or follow you or find out what's going on, what's the best way to do it? Your website? Where do you want them to go?
The best way to keep up with us would probably just be, our website, which is badcopmusic.com, or through Twitter. I'm on Twitter a lot. I'm not that active with the Instagram or Facebook. Like, we still post on there, but it's not my primary thing. But yeah, if you want to keep up with us, I'd say just Twitter or website.
Okay, and your Twitter is again? Now?
Twitter.com/badcopmusic.
/badcopmusic. And the website, I believe, is badcopmusic.com. Is that correct?
Yep. We use Bad Cop Music as sort of like our website, Twitter, Instagram, all that type of stuff.
Okay, yeah, and there's all the buttons there to go to all the different social media.
Yeah.
Stuff there. Yeah, cool. All right, very good. Adam Moult from Bad Cop. Adam, can you hang on the line for a second here? Once we're going to wrap up the official podcast here, but I would like to come back and maybe do a bonus question with you if you got a second.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries at all.
All right. That was Adam Moult from Bad Cop. Once again, the website is badcopmusic.com, and I would encourage you to navigate to the media page where you can see these great videos that we were talking about. You recently do top pro videos. I mean, if there was an MTV that actually played music videos, this was the kind of videos you would see. Totally professional. They work really well with the songs, too. So that's badcopmusic.com. Guys, you have been listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Every Wednesday, there's a new interview, and every Saturday, there's a new music podcast. Go to LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com for all of that. If you like this kind of music and you want to make sure that people know about it, go to supportindierock.com, where you can actually support. You can get involved in supporting and promoting these amazing artists that we've been having on here. One more time, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine. That is pplmag.com. Go check them out. And once again, the website is LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. And shout out one more time to our band for today, our band that we had on the line today, Adam Moult from Bad Cop. That is badcopmusic.com. Guys, thanks so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next podcast.